of locations, and then he kind of takes the whole brain vomit that I put out and refine it into something that's attainable and turn it into something real, like actually capture it on video. And it's usually just like me and him, like a one-on-one, two-person team, 2-man army.
Yeah, that's cool though. I'm glad you guys have like that collaborative relationship.
Yeah, no, it's pretty great. Love him to death.
So what inspired Respect?
Man, Respect. It's interesting, like thinking back to like the inspiration of that song, because the song's old, like it's over a year old for sure. Like the beat, at least, like the skeleton of the song, just like the last like a little bit like before I released it is when I actually refined it, re-recorded it, did some rewrites, reproduced it, and got it ready for release. But what originally inspired the song, man, honestly, I was just fed up. Like I was just mad. It was a little while ago, and I remember I had just played a show, um, and it didn't go well, to be honest. Like I was up on the stage, people weren't paying attention. There was almost nobody in the crowd. And it was one of like, it was one of my earlier performances as well, like a little over a year ago. And I was so mad because I know the music is dope, and I know that like the two people who were paying attention, they loved it, but nobody cared. Um, and it just kind of, the song built off of that feeling of like knowing what I'm up there doing on that stage is awesome, and that people should be paying attention. But they're not. But at the end of the day, like what really matters is the fact that I'm confident in what I'm doing, and that I'm playing my music, I guess, regardless of who's listening. Um, so it was that kind of experience, that like kind of crappy show, um, that just kind of like, I don't know, brought that feeling up out of me. I was kind of fed up. I'm like, whatever, man. I don't need them to be listening anyways. I know what I'm playing is cool, so it doesn't matter.
No, I feel that. I love the confidence, and that's how you got to be. I
I
love,
agree.
yeah. I love the switch up though in Respect, like when the beat just transitioned to a whole different type of vibe.
Hmm.
Did you produce that?
I did, yeah. I produced that one
Okay.
completely, just me, and then I mixed it along with my buddy Noah, who mixes most of my stuff and is mixing and mastering the whole EP that I've got coming out on the 28th. And then Noah mastered that one as well, but the production, that was me.
Okay, yeah. That was sharp. Do you
Thank
feel
you, man.
like that with Respect, it's a like a it represents the it embodies the project? Or is that just like a
Honestly,
team?
no. Respect actually isn't even on the project.
Okay.
It's like I'm putting them out like kind of in tandem, because it is just like this era of music that I was making a little over a year ago to like maybe like, I don't know, 10 months ago. This like period of time where I made Respect, I finished this EP, and I don't know. I was ready to get it off my chest. I was sitting on it for too long, and I got some really cool stuff that's coming up afterwards that's just completely different. Like it sounds nothing like what you've heard yet or what you're gonna hear on this EP. Um, in terms of like the relationship, like musically, between the track and the project, there's definitely similarities. I guess I was the same person writing these EPs. Similar headspace, similar creative taste, which honestly has like changed a lot since then. But it's not on the project, and man, I don't know how to describe it, but it's different for sure. It's similar in essence, but different sonically.
I feel you. Um how was the creative process of like creating the EP? Like did you have any like favorite moments?
Man, one of my favorite moments, man, I think one of my favorite moments recently, like in terms of refining the EP, was going to the studio with Noah, who's doing the mix and master and the recording. I re-recorded the whole EP like in like 2 days with Noah. And a friend of mine, Tia Tut, who's featured on the EP, came to that session as well. And that was like a really cool full circle moment for me, because Tia Tut was one of the first artists I ever met in moving to LA. One of the first people who actually like supported me, really liked my stuff. And the session that Tia and I made this song together on, that's on the EP, that was my first time ever being in a recording studio in Los Angeles. It was like within my first like couple of months being here. I had just been doing all my work in my room or at people's houses. But Tia got me in the actual studio. We made this song. And then, over a year later, Tia comes back to the studio, and we re-listened to the song. And I actually think that was like one of her first times hearing it since we made it. And it was just so much fun going back and revisiting that song, kind of seeing how far we've both come as artists, just as creatives, as people, and getting to kind of reconnect and just like rebuild what we made at the beginning and just refine it and make it that much better. It was very satisfying.
Shout out to Tia though. She's
Shout
hard.
out to Tia. Shout out to Tia.
She's a dope artist. I'm definitely familiar.
Yeah, Tia's dope.
Is there a particular track on the EP that is like your favorite, or you had a significant like moment created?
I think that one I mentioned with Tia Tut is definitely a standout for me, again because of the history behind it. And I also think my second verse on that song, honestly to this day I still think it's probably the strongest verse I've ever written. And it'll speak for itself when it comes out, but I love that song so much. And then past that, the lead single for the EP is called New Bags, and that's coming out on March 14th, which is next Friday. Geez. And that one is definitely a standout as well. It's more stripped back and it's more personal, which I really appreciate about it. Like the rest of the EP is very like maximalist. It's big production, beat changes. It's constantly evolving and taking you places. But New Bags is the one song on the project that's just like, it's a step back. It's just kind of more chill. And I don't know. I'm just kind of like speaking my truth, like getting something off my chest that really needs to be said. And it just feels more personal. It feels like a lot like me, which I really, that it's the lead single for a reason. So yeah, I'm excited for people to hear that one. That one's coming out the 14th, and then the music video is coming out 5 days after the release.
Okay, nice. And this is this your first debut EP?
Yeah, this is my debut EP. It's my first semblance of a project that I've put together. Super excited about it.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we talked about it briefly about the visuals, but what how symbolic do you feel like the visuals play as a role to your music?
Man, that's interesting. Because the visuals for this project, they're not thematic, not at the moment, at least. The way that this project came together, and like I said, I've been sitting on it for so long. It's tricky. I've been thinking about this a lot recently for myself, the relationship between like the visuals and the project, because the project is cohesive. But I made that in a moment in time, and I had ideas for the visuals when I made the project, that now looking back on, I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not just where I'm at as an artist right now. And it's really interesting creating something like the visuals, as I am now, for music that I made, over a year ago. So to be honest, I'm treating these more as like, just like, I don't know, a blank canvas, like a catalyst just to be creative, taking a song and being like, man, like this would be dope. Like, what if we did this here? And it's not really thematic the way that the music has a theme or is related. It's really just like eye candy. It's visualizers. It's like, what's the coolest looking video that I can make right now? It's almost like I think of it almost like an exercise. Like I'm just working out the video making muscles.
Right.
Because the next project, that I'm working on, which is going to be an album, which I won't even get into right now. But I know that everything is going to be correlated on that one. So this one's just a little bit more like, what do I want to make? Like, what looks cool? What fits the music? What's the vibe? Like for the lead single, we shot just yesterday. Avi and I were in a library, just shooting in a library, and no reason. Like the music's got nothing to do with the library. It's got nothing to do with reading or education. It's just like I just feel like I see it in a library, so why not? Let's just do it in a library, and it looks cool. It looks cool.
Are you my bad, sorry. Are you more of like a visual person? It's like you already when you're like in the studio or after a song's made, you already see the music video, the treatment?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. Like not always exactly how it ends up, but I visualize something, and I always have like some sort of visual in my head as I'm working on a song. Like, oh man, like this reminds me of the beach, or this is like a forest song or something like that. That sometimes it kind of turns into what like a music video or a visualizer might be. Not always, but it's something that kind of helps keep the songs cohesive as I'm working on them. Like, okay, I'm working on this first verse. It's foresty, so I got to make sure the hook and the next verse are foresty as well. If that makes sense. And then yeah, I consider myself a very, very visual person, even though my primary art form isn't visual art at all. But even in terms of like the way that I dress, and I don't know, the visuals that I make or the cover art that I pick out, it's all very intentional and curated. Whether it's like thematic or not, it's very thought out, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely noticeable. I definitely saw the album, the single artwork and the visual, and I'm just like, yeah, this is a whole concise
Thank you.
thing he has right here. How do you feel that LA has played a role in your music thus far?
Man, I'm so excited that you just asked me that, because that's honestly what the whole EP is about. For the most part, it's this project. I wrote it like the span of months. It was like the first 3 months to 1 year that I was living in LA, which was honestly probably the most formative period of time in my life at all. It shaped me in so many ways, and that's what the EP is about. Is kind of just like dealing with, I don't know. It's reflecting on like who I used to be and who I've become at that time, at least. So there's a lot that I could say on the topic of like how it's changed me, but I think I'm just gonna kind of leave it to the EP to speak for itself. Each song is a little snapshot of like how I've been feeling, and it's just kind of, I don't know, the impermanence of it all, like the change of everything that was all happening so fast. So yeah, I'll let the music answer that question.
I feel that. How do you feel about the current landscape of the music industry and just navigating things as such, even with like your new release as an independent artist?
Navigating what? Wait, what was you said? You broke up a little bit. Navigating.
Okay, sorry. I said with the current landscape of the music industry, how do you feel about like navigating your release and like your music in general?
Mm-hmm. Man, it's tricky. It's tricky. I think like the music industry is so complicated. And I actually work in the music industry as well. I work as like a music coordinator for Sync and like the Sync licensing company. It's interesting having like this crossroads of being an artist primarily, but also having a little like snapshot into what the industry is looking like. And I don't know, I'm really trying to not play that game as much as possible. Because I don't think I'm very good at it for the most part, like in terms of like the actual, I don't know, like a typical teacher or someone might be like, if you're trying to make it in the industry today, like you need to be pumping out short form content and you need to be doing this and doing that. And I don't know that it's not that like I don't want to do that stuff. I'm just trying to make sure that everything that I do is like something that I want to be doing, that it's centered around the art. Whether it be like the visuals, like, am I making short form content? Definitely. But it's not for the sake of short form content. It's because I want to make a cool video.
Right.
or like yeah, and I think in addition to that, my biggest focus as like an artist, as a creative trying to build a fan base and a community, is just being present like in real life, trying to be out at people's events as much as possible. You know, if someone's playing a show, like I try to be there, try to meet people, try to support as much as possible. Like I hosted an art gallery recently to premiere my music video, and man, that was so fulfilling. And it's not like it was a huge event or anything, but it felt like it felt so much more impactful than like anything I'd ever done on social media, or any like, you know, stream count I'd ever gotten for a song, or a playlist placement or anything. Like it was so real and in the moment, and like having people there enjoying the video, that's what was fulfilling. So I think you know, yeah, just doing things intentionally and trying to focus on real life stuff over than the online. That's how I'm navigating things at the moment.
I feel that that's great that you have that mindset of just trying to stay present with everything. I think that's definitely needed.
Totally.
Do you have any plans or like live performances or anything set up for the release?
I do, man. So March 27th is the night before the EP comes out. Well, actually, LA time, I'll be like going up on stage like right as the EP comes out, which is gonna be super cool. So that's my release show for the EP, March 27th, at Harvard and Stone, and I'm excited about it. Like, I've got my collective in DAM is playing at the show as well, so I'll be a part of that set. And then a friend of mine, Juice MC, is opening up the show, and he's also featured on the project, which is exciting. And then another friend, My Compiled Thoughts, is playing at the show as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be my first show that I've ever done with a live band. We're going to play the EP front to back, all live instrumentation, and it'll probably be the only time that people really hear it like that, which is what's exciting. Because you know, I'll probably play with a band again. I'll definitely play the EP songs again, but like front to back, no pauses, no breaks, all live instrumentations. It's going to be a one of one experience. Um, so I'm excited about it, and I'm like, you know, working hard with the band, trying to make sure it'll be the best it can be.
That sounds exciting. So
It's exciting for sure.
yeah, definitely. So I'm definitely I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all the footage and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Is performing my bad. How much do you like performing, or like what out of like the process?
I love it, bro. It's my favorite. It's actually my favorite. I feel like the high that you have when coming off stage is unmatched. Like it's the best feeling ever. Um, yeah, performing is my favorite. I don't know how else to put it. Like I played two shows last weekend, one on Friday, one on Saturday, and like I'm still riding the high from that weekend. It was so much fun. I love being on stage. I love feeling people's energy like pouring into me. I love being like, say hey, and people say hey. So fun. Um, it's really unmatched. And like what's different a lot about the music that I'm making today, that or like, you know, not today but in this time, that, you know, people probably won't be hearing for a couple months, is like I'm finally making stuff like for shows, stuff that I'm like, this is going to be so fun to perform, which was never really like an intention I went into. Like this EP, none of it's like made for performance. It's just like it is what it is, but it's not like that wasn't the intention behind it. But a lot of like the music I'm working on now, the album I'm working on, like a lot of that is for live performance, which I think is just going to take things up to a whole nother level, and just make it that much more fun. So man, I'm excited to finish this stuff up, put it out, start playing some shows with it. You know, I get too ahead of myself because like that probably won't even be until end of the year, but still, it'll be fun.
It sounds like you have a lot in store. So I'm definitely eager to hear some stuff. So hey, you got some links you want to send me? Like, hey, let me know. Um,
Yeah, no, I definitely will. I definitely will. I love sharing my stuff. It's so fun.
but, is there any words you would want to like words of advice you would want to give to like upcoming artists or independent artists who are trying to get their footing out there?
Man, I think like it's so interesting being asked that question because I still feel like I'm in a space where I need all the advice I can get, you know. But I think one piece of advice I would give that I'm really just trying to adopt for myself still is just like don't stop. Like just keep going. Momentum is key in my opinion. Like I don't know, nothing that you're doing is as important as what you're doing next. And some people would consider that like a toxic mindset because of course you should be living in the moment, but like where I'm at right now is I'm trying to do as much as possible. And hopefully it'll work out for me. I guess we'll see. But anyways, yeah, that would be my advice. It's just like keep going, don't stop, all gas, no brakes. That's it.
100. Thank you so much.
Man, of course. Thank you.
No problem. We got it. So you said you're working for a music sync company?
Yeah, I am. That's my job. Sync licensing,
Okay.
Music coordinator. I make playlists.
Okay.
I send them off.
Cool.
That's it.
Cool. What's the company?
It's called a Glow Music Group. GLO. GLOW. My bad.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what's up. That's nice. All right, how are you guys like holding up with like with the fires and everything?
Man, definitely better. You can still feel the repercussions for sure. But I'd say like I personally I wasn't affected by them. Like I did evacuate, but you know, the fires didn't touch anywhere near where I live. Thankfully, but it was really beautiful watching the city come together to help each other. And I'm just happy to see like it's still going. You know, people are still out there volunteering every day. Every time that I've tried to go volunteer, they've turned me away because they're like, we got too many people here.
Wow.
Which is so cool because that's the best problem to have. Too many volunteers. That's fantastic.
For sure.
So yeah, I'd say for the most part, like people are holding up as well as they can. Definitely still feeling the repercussions, but I'm just glad that attention from it hasn't really been diverted yet because, you know, LA is like a very fast-paced city. Like a lot of things only last 15 minutes here, you know, but people are still, you know, I still see charity events happening every weekend. People still raising money. Volunteer centers are still packed out, which is good. Yeah. Happy to see that.
That's amazing. That's good.
And where are you based again?
So I'm in Maryland. So I'm like Elkridge, Maryland, like maybe like 15 minutes from Baltimore.
Sweet. Right on. That's cool. Yeah, I'm actually from Virginia originally. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. DMV. Hell yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah.
That's it.
Hopefully I can like make my way out there like later this year. Definitely.
And I hope so. Yeah. If you do, let me know. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
that'd be awesome.
But appreciate you for reaching out and letting me interview you. Anytime. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk to me a little bit.
No problem.
Yeah, it's been nice. Excited to I'll definitely send you some links for sure.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Peace.